Hey guys, what's up? GreenMachineSam back with another video, and today we have another Madden 24 roster update guide. So it's been a while since I uploaded one of these, so I wanted to go ahead and put one out just so that you guys understood that the roster has been getting updated. That is something I do want to cover right away. Is just because there's not a video doesn't mean the roster is not being updated. It just means not as many big things have been happening, as well as there's no new information that I really need to put out there for you guys. So first and foremost, this is a PS5 roster, so that is something I do want to get out of the way. This is a PS5 exclusive roster. Sorry to anybody on last gen. Sorry to anybody that's on Xbox or on PC. I know that Xbox has a couple good rosters from couple different creators. But if you guys are on PS5 and you guys do need a roster for both Madden 24 or NBA 2K23, go ahead and check out some of the description. It should have the link to the playlist, or you guys can go check out the channel and find the playlist on the channel as well. Either way, you can find them down below. Now, of course, one thing that I do want to state and get out of the way is somebody asked me why I don't change schemes like somebody on Xbox does. Because if you're not controlling that team when you hop into franchise, you cannot, and I will repeat this, you cannot change their schemes. So let's say you take over your team, and there's a team that was running a 3-4 last year who now has a new coach that wants to run a 4-3, and you change the scheme. And, if you change the player where the players are listed at and the scheme isn't changed, they're going to be running a 3-4 with 4-3 personnel. So that means, your edges aren't going to be correct as much. Of course, with the specialist positions and stuff, it does help balance that out a little bit. So there is that giving back and forth and stuff like that. But it's going to be incorrect, right? And you don't want that. I know it's super annoying when you go up against a 3-4 team and they have a 4-3 defensive end that's playing on as a, 2-eye on my guard and beating them because they just have so much speed and stuff on the inside. I know I hate that. I know I hate going against the wrong schemes and stuff and players being out of position and stuff. That's something I try to do in a lot of my franchises, go through and fix teams as best as humanly possible. Now, of course, there's always not going to be a perfect solution. Just putting that out there. Now, of course, one thing I do want to state as well is there are some things that I cannot change inside of Madden in the roster, which are age, dev traits, and contract numbers, whether that's years or money. The money is the more important thing, or the bigger thing that I cannot change. If you did not know, overall determines both how many years and how much money you get paid in Madden's free agency in the roster section. There's no way to work around it that I've ever found. The only workaround that I know is you can change positions to drop players' overalls to then get them on at least the correct years. You can drop their overalls to at least get them to the correct years in general. Money, you cannot change. I can't change experience either, or age, two things that are very heavily needed in Madden as well. So I can't make somebody that was a rookie last year not a rookie. So yes, of course, when I do end up making the rookies on draft night, there's basically going to be two sets of rookies in your franchise. I will say that much. And trust me, I wish there was something like 2K where you could do, a scenario. What is it? 2K share scenario where you can load up a scenario where you can pick up where somebody left off. If somebody gets, a franchise set up correctly, you could go in and you can just start from that date that they've decided to pick. Trust me, I wish there was something like that. I wish there was a whole ton of stuff Madden did, but they don't. Of course, EA. It's EA. I'm not going to harp on that any longer. So, first things first, you guys are going to head over to the Creation Center, the little NFL icon Creation Center, then head to share and manage files. Go to download community files. Yes, you have to download the roster every single time you want the update. Of course, we are one of the top rated files now. I don't know why Madden takes so long. I have pretty decent Wi-Fi, in my opinion. I can upload my videos within minutes, if not, 10 minutes or so. The fact that this takes fucking forever is annoying. We are the second highest downloaded roster. We are one of the top community files, but we are the second highest roster. I would assume we'll take over the college roster sometime soon. I know with free agency slowing down, the roster slowed down a little bit. I think it's a really good roster. I get a lot of the stuff done. If I miss somebody, but whether it's because they weren't on some of my news sources that I use, if I miss it on Twitter, if I don't write it down, stuff like that. If I miss somebody, let me know. And one thing I do want to say here is there are fillers on each team or at least on a good chunk of teams. And first things first, of course, like I said, you have to download it. So once you click download, if you've already downloaded this roster, it'll have overwrite my file, which means it's just going to save it as the same name and delete the old file. So it's just going to update it. Or you can save it as a new file, change the name, and then you have both the old and the new roster update. I don't think it's that hard to find me. Like I said, this is on PS5. If you want, for some reason, to find the other one, you can just look up my username ID, GreenMachineSam. No special characters, no capitalization, no numbers needed in the search. So you would search by online ID, of course. And then you can download the Madden 24 one. It doesn't really make a difference. They're no different. And of course, like always, you do have to load the roster. That is one big thing that a lot of people forget to do. Whether that's starting a new franchise, going into play now, or just looking at the roster in general. I just like to load it 2 or 3 times just to really make sure it's on there. It doesn't do anything. It's just for my sake, because then I'm not... Because, if I hop in and just start editing the roster right away, and then I realize, oh, hey, I'm in 30 minutes into these edits, and I'm not on the correct roster. So, of course, Keenan Allen is on the Bears with Tyler Scott wearing 13. I did decide to give 13 to Keenan Allen. I understand that they're going to draft Caleb Williams, but for now, Keenan Allen's going to have 13. Tyler Scott got moved to number 21. A couple big names, of course, that we haven't went over since the last time the roster was updated. L'Jarius Sneed going to the Tennessee Titans. You have a guy like Jadeveon Clowney going to the Panthers, and so on and so forth. You also have guys like Caleb Von Chason. They got DJ Wanham. The Rams ended up bringing in a couple guys. They ended up bringing Tre'Davious White. They brought back Michael Hoyt. They brought in Demarcus Robinson. The Broncos brought in Josh Reynolds and a whole ton more. Of course, if you want to know about every single transaction that I ended up doing, just go ahead and go look for something. I just type in NFL transactions. And then one big thing that I am doing as well, if you guys haven't seen some of the more recent ones, is there's a Twitter page called NFL Jersey Numbers. I appreciate their support. They've done a fantastic job about putting out jersey numbers so I can get those changed for when people pick out their jersey numbers. So a guy like Skylar Thompson, who's going to 19, his jersey number got changed. Anthony Walker is picking number 6. He got changed. Shaq Barrett is going to 58. He got changed. A lot of these interior D linemen picked out their jersey numbers, so their jersey numbers got changed as well. And just so on and so forth. Another big one was, of course, Ringo. He ended up moving to 23. Rick Lavoto, their long snapper, went to 49, and so on and so forth. There's just a ton of stuff, of course, on the roster that you guys should go check out. Kirk Cousins is good. I, for some reason, thought I didn't change him. Somebody commented about it, and I'm like, yo, go check out the new roster. One thing I will say, if you want any of the retired players, Cody Davis, Corey Linsley, Damian Harris, Derek Watt, Jason Kelsey, Leighton Vander Esch, Ryan Jensen, and Darren Waller, and Fletcher Cox, and Matthew Slater. Oh, geez, and Aaron Donald. I forget how many people retired this year. I don't remember if Darren Waller is like 100% retired, but then again, people are still speculating whether or not Jason Kelsey's actually retired at this point. But I think it was heavily implied that he's going to retire. Ryan Jensen also, with how bad his injury was, apparently, he's expected to retire as well. Some of these are actually guaranteed. Cody Davis, Corey Linsley, Damian Harris, Derek Watt, Jason Kelsey, LVE, Fletcher Cox, and Matt Slater are all guys that I think are confirmed. If for some reason somebody isn't at the correct... Oh, Josiah DeGuara is not at the correct position. Okay, so a guy like Josiah DeGuara, we're just going to show you. I'll have to re-upload the roster, of course, so you will have another update coming out. If you find a guy that's not at the correct position like Josiah DeGuara, go ahead and let me know. If you find somebody that doesn't have the correct overall, go ahead and let me know. And I will happily fix those and get those pushed back out, get you guys the next roster update. I've messed around with a lot of the depth charts, getting some of them fixed for obvious reasons. The Bears one was a big one because TJ Edwards was listed as the rush end, the right rush end, because their rush ends aren't very good right now outside of Montez Sweat. So I've went through and fixed a lot of that stuff. Now, of course, I haven't fixed every depth chart, and I am waiting for mainly the free agency period to really cease and slow down. It's slowed down a lot, don't get me wrong. There's not as many transactions going on, of course. There's still plenty going on. Will Clapp going to Buffalo. Bills also picking up another D tackle. Hewitt going back to the Texans. CJ Henderson going to the Texans as well. CGJ going to the Eagles, all types of fun stuff. There's a whole ton of stuff on the roster for you guys to go ahead and check out. There's tons of players. Like I said, there's going to be filler players here and there on certain teams just because of positional requirements, if you did not know. Inside the player management screen, inside Madden's rosters, before you load into a franchise, you have to have a certain amount of players at certain positions. It just is what it is. You have to have a certain amount of players at every single position. Unless that position already is lower than the positional requirements, then you don't have to have 2 guys there. One that you're going to see a lot is fullback. So if you're ever making a roster, just be aware. Don't put somebody at fullback if you plan on releasing them. It's just going to fuck your roster. I know one time, this was when I first started doing roster updates for Madden 24, I accidentally moved somebody to fullback. I was trying to move him to running back, and I had to restart the whole roster update. I had to do another 30 minutes worth of work because I accidentally moved somebody to fullback, and then I couldn't release them, and I couldn't change positions, and I didn't want to add a filler player to a team that didn't need it. All that fun stuff. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about the roster, whether it's players missing or anything, go ahead and let me know down below. Remember, not everything gets reported in the NFL. If I miss somebody, please let me know. I also got future reserve contracts done. I know that's something I probably said in probably a video or 2 ago for the roster updates. All future reserve contracts that I could at least find inside of Madden all have been updated and been signed. I signed them to 1-year deals. I know some of them get signed to 2-year deals and stuff, but I just end up signing them to 1-year deals just to make it a little bit easier and all that fun stuff. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to answer most of them. Some people, if you're mean, I'm not going to fucking respond to you because I'm going to be a dickhead right back. And I just don't need to be a dickhead in the comments and have somebody see it and make the wrong impression, right? Like I said, I think it's a good roster. If you guys want to still play Madden, I think this is the roster for you, and especially if you're on PS5. If you're on a different platform, I'm sorry. This roster takes long enough as is. I'm not going to be making a second roster, especially with the rookies. That would take way too much time. I will have more information regarding the draft and all that fun, and the rookies being involved with that later down the road as the draft approaches. I'll give out more and more information about that and how I plan on doing things this year. You guys have probably already heard bits and snips and tidbits of information from me regarding some of the stuff I plan on doing. But yeah, if you guys do enjoy this content, please stick around and subscribe. I'll be back with more videos like this, whether it's roster updates, Tennessee Titans franchise, rebuilds, all types of stuff, draft-related content. I'm trying to get a lot of content out. It does take me a minute to edit stuff. But like I said, if you guys do enjoy the roster or the YouTube content, please stick around and subscribe. And I'll be back with more videos like this. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace.